Hey, Tobo. Hey everybody, welcome in. It's Josh. It's the Gaming Josh channel, and we're staring at the ground. No, we are back on Sino. Welcome in, everybody. It is nighttime. No, it's not. Come on. There we go. It is actually very early in the morning on Sino, and we are back in our survival skills series. And actually, let me turn the engine off for just a minute because it's loud. I haven't taken the time to edit it yet, but the one thing I did want to show you guys, please tell me it's working, is our new survival skills menu. And we have a bunch of new stuff in here, and I wanted to show that off because I'm actually really happy about it. We didn't get to show this last time because it was kind of broken. As you can see, our months played is kind of creeping up there. We're going to get 200 horsepower very soon. I'm looking forward to that. Then we have a couple new ones. So the run it dry is now 2 out of 3. What does that mean? We've completed out of fuel with our New Holland, out of fuel with our other New Holland, but we haven't done out of fuel with our Gleaner, not yet. So we have a completed and not yet status, and it kind of keeps track of how many we've done. And then in the middle here, once I get that part working, it will say, you know, your current horsepower boost is this, your current horsepower limit is this. It'll actually do the math for you and tell you what your horsepower limit currently is, which is pretty cool. You only have to do the out of fuel once it tracks it, you're done. And each individual tractor has its own kind of stats and limits and stuff like that. The rest of it is still pretty much the same. The bug actually ended up being that to make testing easier, I had, so for this tab right here, for the farming one, I had done worked hectares times 1,000 or something like that, right? So that on No Man's Land, which is where I usually start, it's the quickest one to load on testing, it would show this as like level 4 or level 5, something close, because I hadn't really done much work at all on No Man's Land. But when you loaded it on here, it got to a point where it was getting to have too much data, and it didn't know how to mark something as 100% done. So this would have been marked as level 5, you would have been completely done, and there's nothing left to unlock. But it was kind of in this state where I wasn't doing the math right. Totally cool, I fixed it. As you can see, our forestry is getting close. We have one more tree to cut, and then we can actually unlock log loaders and log trailers. I'm gonna actually update this so that it's, I haven't done it yet, but log loaders and log trailers, we're gonna update that so that you also unlock stump grinders, because it makes sense to be able to unlock that. The travel statistics, we're doing good. And then the last thing, which I started doing the work for and the coding for, is the ability to upgrade our machinery. And so what's gonna end up happening is in this skill, we're gonna move some of these. There's gonna be like a section, kind of like how when you have if you go into here, see there's 2 sections, active, sewing. The top section is going to be current machine, and it'll show your any skills related to your tractor itself and any skills related to any equipment you have attached to your current tractor. That's work that I'm currently doing. I'm still working on it, but that's what it's going to look like essentially in this menu right here. Right now it doesn't look that way because I haven't gotten that far yet, but we're going to get there soon. Other than that, the other one we're working on tonight is bales produced, 81 out of 100. And precision farming, we've fertilized at least 10 hectares. So this is our precision farming goal. This is a new one we haven't really talked about. But this tracks how many hectares you have fertilized in total. So we have unlocked enabled precision farming. So we're using precision farming. If we actually get land, we have to do manual sampling for now. To get past that, we have to fertilize another 20 hectares. So it only counts how many hectares you fertilized for that status. We haven't fertilized any. So actually looking forward to maybe seeing if there's any, no, there's no, I was hoping there's gonna be a fertilizing contract, but there's not. So until we can come back here and do the mowing, I want to get going with my worker, since I'm allowed to use workers, and get some weeding done. Now, I made a mistake, not really a mistake, but I intentionally got the biggest weeding contract possible. And we need to buy a weeder because we still don't have the ability to lease equipment. I don't remember why we don't, but we don't. So I'm gonna come into weeders, and weeders, since there's no skill based on weeders, as far as I'm concerned, it's whatever we want. So we can either go with this one, which is 6 meters, this one, which is 9, 12, or 15. We can use whichever weeder we want. What do you guys prefer? I was kind of leaning towards this one's kind of in the middle. It does say 170, but I think that's when you're seeding. Because this one's 150, so... But this one is on the 3-point. And while we do have a weight, I don't know if that weight's going to be big enough. So we can go all the way up and do that. I haven't decided. So what do you guys think? And just to be clear, we're doing this on a worker, so we're not actually going to be doing it. It's just we're getting the credit for it. So what do you guys think? Anyways, a quick hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. I'm seeing Bruce's Gaming. Welcome in. Towboat Fish, how you doing? Artemis, thanks for being here. We got lots of people who are actually members in here, which is really, really awesome to see. Thank you so much to all the members and helping me kind of get started on this little journey of mine. It's really, I greatly appreciate it. And Waylon, am I saying your name right? Waylon is here as well. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. No votes in the chat, so I'm gonna go with this one, I guess. I'm not sure if trailed is a good idea. I've never used that one. Use this one. I'm gonna split the... I think this one's cheaper. I don't really like weeders anyways, and it's just on a worker. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit just because the worker can go faster. You always use the traffler. Someone said something. Oh, traffler? I mean, if I'm just weeding, why not, right? Okay, I'll get it. I have the money, so... And we're gonna get 23k for the contract, which means we need to make another 23k weeding to make this worth it. I'm really hoping the weight on the front of this is enough. So I'm going to use Artemis's suggestion and see if this works. Oh, look, the weight seems to be enough. That's good. And we're not going far. We're going right here. Going right here. And I don't think Courseplay can actually calculate courses for this field because it's going to try to do the whole thing all at once. So let's get it started on the smaller of the two fields. Look at this thing. It's like a rocket ship. This is actually the contract that I accepted. This was the weeder in the contract. So first of all, let's make sure this weeder is working with this tractor. And it looks like it is. Let's make sure it's actually registering 0% progress. Keep going until I get 1% progress, and then I'm gonna say that it's okay. Yes, Artemis, and we can talk about that. I saw lots of stuff in that video. Ooh. It looks like it's removing the weeds, so that's good. Oh, look, it is giving me a progress bar. So that's good. Let's come in here. Actually, you know what? We can't use Courseplay yet. We have to use regular workers. So I'm going to do a headland or two. And then hopefully the worker can figure it out. I don't know if that's going to happen. So while I do the headland, we can do what Artemis is suggesting. Let's talk about the video. Obviously, the hot topic of the entire video is GPS. And in all honesty, I don't want to talk about it. And the reason why yes, we're getting GPS, but until I see what it is, I'm not going to get excited because it could just be something dumb, or it could just be as awesome as the worker system is and not work at all. Like, yes, it's great you're getting GPS. I'm really happy for consoles, but if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to wait for somebody to port over like enhanced vehicle, which I like. The one thing I didn't like to see is it said GPS, but it like here in the window right here, this part, Go away, Courseplay. Shouldn't be open. In this little window, you got these little numbers and stuff like this. It tells you your degrees and your heading over here in the HUD. None of that was there. So if it has GPS, what does that mean? And what is it going to give you? Does it give you the ability to lock into a line? Does it give you the ability to have tracks? Does it give you the ability to do, you know, what does it mean? No one knows. And so in some ways, it doesn't make sense to talk about it yet, because then we're just speculating. We have no idea. What we can talk about is the stuff that we've seen, right? Hey, PCS World, welcome in. And by the way, just to level set. So far, everyone, give me a thumbs up in the chat or something like that. Have you guys seen the FS22 information leak trailer thing, whatever you want to call it? The stuff that they released today, and all of the content creators got their hands on those videos as well, and so everyone is kind of diagnosing it. Has everyone seen it? Because I don't want to like break the secret, or what? I don't want to like, what's it called? What's it called when you're like gonna tell a story before it happens? Richard, yeah, whatever, Richard. I'm not sure I believe that, Richard, but spoiler, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. So yeah, I'd love to talk about that video, but at the same time, I don't want to offend anyone who hasn't seen it or wants to be surprised. So if you want to be surprised, mute or something. Just mute the stream for a few minutes. Anyways, so actually, as soon as I get a worker on this, I'm gonna try to bring up like a screenshot window, and then so I can cycle through a couple screenshots that I took. Does that make sense? Because I took some screenshots from the video, and it'll help a lot to actually have context. So let me try to do that while this worker is going to crash into trees. Hold on. Did he crash? Yeah, he crashed. There he goes. Pictures, FS25. Perfect. So I'm going to open that. And I'm going to minimize it. I'm gonna come in here, just pretending it's not happening. Just ignore the fact that I'm running into a screen. I should have thought about this before. Window capture. Add new screen shots and photos app. Is that what I'm doing? Capture. It's not working. Nope. I can't capture the Photos app? That's stupid. Really? I can't capture the Photos app. That's dumb. All right, well, I guess we're gonna have to do it full screen. I don't see irrigation or those mounds around the field like in the trailer. Yeah, I don't see. So I think the reason you weren't seeing those, Richard, the irrigation mounds, is because that's Japan. All the stuff that we're seeing today was all the American map. Even though it was showing the Japanese equipment, we were only seeing the American map. That's a really distinction. The Japanese or Chinese or whatever map it is, the Asian map is the one that's going to have those kind of like raised areas and flooding, and it's going to be a different type of corn. It's going to be that flooded corn, which that you can grow both of them in the American map, apparently, I guess, but it's not going to be the same. So That's the reason why you didn't see those irrigation mounds, is because it's a different map. And why can't I share this stupid window? All right, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete that one. Yes. Add window. Cancel. Add display capture. Laptop. All right, what do you guys see? You guys see the picture? Perfect. You're gonna see the window inside the window for just a minute, because we're gonna go and put the pictures up here so I can keep working. Where you want it? I don't know. We'll go right there. That's fine. Can I do both things at once? All right, so these are in no particular order. They're actually named. The names on the files that I created, I just took screenshots from the videos. So there is no real order. I didn't plan the order. So this screenshot, there's a reason I took each screenshot, right? Yeah, exactly. The fog looks really awesome. The field is already flooded. Exactly. Actually, it was being flooded, Bruce, and I have a screenshot of that. Let me see if I can find that. So here's the screenshot. The field was actually being flooded. It was flooded, but it also had water flowing into it. So the water level could have been in the process of getting higher during the time in which the screenshot was taken, the video was taken. We don't know, but there is a chance that it would have gotten higher because there was a pump on the side of the field and it was pumping water at the time of the video, which I think is kind of cool. That said, that pump, right? It kind of looks placed there. I was a little bit hoping that they were going to use like a pumps and hoses style pump, because we've seen that in a few places in some of the other screenshots and other trailers and other places in the game. Like it would look kind of like a generator, like a Honda, portable generator kind of thing, right? So this pump was at the side of the field and there was water flowing out of it. So, which is nice. It means that we're going to have to place a pump of some kind that will fill the field, or it'll already be placed. We don't know yet. We'll have to see, but logically, there's going to have to be a pump of some kind. The other thing, here's the one thing I saw talking about the rice. May those who drink on the 5th on the 4th have a fourth come forth on the 5th. I like that, Ken. Welcome in. So here's one thing about I like the idea personally, and these are all my opinions, so this is not factual. I'm not a Giants partner. I got this stuff at the same time you guys did, from screenshots from videos that happened during the live stream, whatever it was this morning. And then we're gonna hire a worker. Which direction are you gonna go, dude? He's gonna go straight across the middle. Perfect. The rice paddy thing, and you know what, now that we're using a worker, we can make these big, this window bigger. This one. Right, so the rice, I like the idea that they're going to be using a greenhouse to grow the rice crops. I like that. You have to actually do the work. And I really, really hope that this screenshot is pre-production. The reason being is that if you're growing seedlings or sprouted seedlings or saplings or whatever you want to call it, for a crop like rice, you wouldn't be doing it in the ground where the greenhouse is. You would be creating raised garden beds that you're going to be propagating those seeds in. You're not going to do it on the ground. And I don't have the videos because I'm not a Giants partner, but earlier in this video, this is the same exact ground texture as outside the door. And this screenshot is taken from looking inside the door. But to me, that doesn't make sense. You wouldn't actually be growing this stuff in regular dirt. You'd be growing it in a raised garden bed in, you know, loam or something else that can be properly transplanted where you're going. To me, that doesn't make sense. So I really hope this asset is coming soon. That said, the asset's cool. I like the semi-transparency of the kind of netting or whatever it's called. I like that. That's kind of cool. But again, this is obviously the wet rice style, as PCS World is pointing out. So the dry rice style is going to be planted with a planter probably. And they showed that in one of the other things for the rice. One thing I thought was interesting about the rice when it was being harvested. I'm gonna see if this worker turns around properly. Yeah, you're a dumbass. Oh, is he gonna actually stop? Oh wow, this worker actually did something proper. That's amazing. Anyways, I think that's good. I think that's gonna be fun. Let me cycle through the pictures. I do like this. This is one thing I also saw on that same clip, was this view for your info panel. The info panel actually looks really nice to me. I think this looks really nice. I don't know why there's an exclamation point here next to active productions. To me, an exclamation point is an error message, or hey, you need to look at this, not just hey, this is running. That seems kind of a bad use for an exclamation point, but whatever. Like, you don't need an exclamation point next to building storage. It has storage. You know that it has storage. Why would you put an exclamation point there? But nonetheless, it looks good. It's similar to the current HUD view. Speaking of HUD views, where's the other HUD view? This is what it normally looks like now. So the HUD view here is, I commented on this in a couple different places on my own forum. So all of my comments I've already typed out from the video, and all of these screenshots, I shared them in my Discord. So if you are interested in continuing this conversation off stream, I would love that. There's a farm sim chat channel in my Discord, and where I posted all of my thoughts on this stuff. What I do for a living is I build UI for the internet. So I am a UI architect. That's what I do. I build things to make them properly usable on the web and other places like tablets and apps and all that kind of stuff. But I build UI for a living. That's what I do. This is horrible UI. The icons are way too big. The text size compared to the icons, like the scale is totally off. The spacing between the icons and the text is not consistent. If you notice, there's like a little teeny tiny space, like 2 pixels of space here. There's 5 pixels of space here, 4 pixels of space here, -1 pixels of space here. Like this, the dollar sign or currency symbol should not be that close to the number. Right? It just shouldn't be. Oh my gosh. The AI worker just decided to crap out and not do his job. It shouldn't be that close. That doesn't make sense. They should fix that. And I would thank you. That's a euro, but the font or the icon or the symbol shouldn't be that close. There should be some space. There's no breathing room. And then the other thing here that I don't like, and this is just my opinion, I think this font is the wrong size. They could have totally used a bigger font. And I know it's the same size as the one that's currently on FarmSim, but the spacing between the icons, like the icon to the month, is totally different. Why is this a calendar icon? In FS22, it's not a calendar icon. It's an icon that designates the season, right? The clock icon is different. This one is close, but it's almost the same. Why they space it out horizontally like this, I don't know. There's no reason that the time and your time scale have the same importance, right? It just doesn't make sense. Like, there's so many little UI things here that I just don't agree with. But you know, it is what it is. I hope they fix it. What else? I'm going to leave the worker here and hope that the worker does his job, and I'm going to get back over to my farm and start mowing. And then we're going to get this window down a little bit smaller. Sorry. One of the other things that I saw, we'll go back to so this one right here, we'll go stick within the same scene. This is the scene when they're walking up the forest trail, right? And the forest trail, there's 3 different heights of grass there, right? 3. Now, normally we only have 2 different heights of grass, or I'm sorry, we have 3 different heights of grass, but there's actually all 3 heights of grass. Why is this playing? Is this keeps going away to the wrong icon? Come on. I think it's having a hard time catching up with me. There's different heights of grass, but I think overall the grass looks pretty similar to the grass we have in FS. It's not much different, which is kind of a bummer because I was hoping that they would do new grass, but they didn't. So we have to deal with essentially the same grass system we have now. Now, granted, the grass system that they gave us, the new grass, it looks a little bit better. It looks a little more dense, a little less sparse, a little bit less blocky than before. But overall, I think it's pretty much the same grass we have now. So I don't actually, in as much as I love grass, I really don't think they did very much with the grass. I think they kind of just, whatever, and did whatever they wanted to do, and didn't actually make very big of a change to the grass system. I was a little bit bummed. Yeah, it is super hot today. Hey, Michael, welcome in. I'm doing good. Where I am in California, we had a high predicted of 111, which it is pretty much right now, I think. Yeah, it's 109 right now. Where I am, I've got like an overhead ceiling fan. I've got like a box fan, room fan on me, and the AC is on. That's what I'm trying to do to stay out of this heat. It is crazy hot where I am today. It's not fun. But anyways, I think what I see with the grass, I like the grass. I think it's gonna be cool. I really hope that it gets better. This is the last screenshot that I took from all the videos. This little building here was in this shot for like split second when they were showing one of the cloud shots. One thing I thought about this building, which is really interesting to me, is that building to me looks much higher quality textures than anything else I've seen in Farm Sim 22 outside of the not MA7, outside of the EDO mod maps where they have the ability to have 4096 textures. But the level of detail, even in like a very passing shot on this building with the roof and the siding, that amount of detail, I'm hoping is a sign. And if you look at a lot of the other buildings that were in the videos, I'm hoping that means that they are allowing higher quality textures. The downside is what that also means is that we may be, it may make mods bigger because bigger texture files mean bigger file sizes, which means bigger mod files, which means more slots on console and more megabytes and gigabytes or whatever on PC. So it's a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing that I'm hoping that they're going to allow higher quality textures. So as PCS said, like, they were focusing a lot on engine and quality and the look of things. And I think just looking at the buildings that they've shown, it looks like they've gone up a level in their quality of the texture files. If I had one thing to really hope, I hope they get rid of the DDS system. As a modder, converting PNG graphics to DDSs for no good reason. Like there's no reason to have DDSs. Like a PNG is already compressed. Like why compress it again? And do some kind of archaic, you know, standalone format that only works with your game and no one else's game. Like why are you doing that? Just use PNGs like everyone else in the industry is. Like just use the standard. Stop trying to make up your own standard. But that's the end of my DDS PNG rant. So I'm hoping we get higher quality textures. I don't think anyone else has commented on this particular thing. Maybe it's just something that I'm noticing, and or maybe I'm hoping too much, but it would be nice to get higher quality textures. I think that would be a great addition to the game and to modding, to be able to have higher quality textures. And of course, dropping older gen consoles means that you can do this. It might also mean the opposite, or not the opposite, but it might also mean that we still might have PC versus like we might have high fidelity versions of mods, or have to have multiple versions of texture packs and stuff like that to be able to have higher quality textures on PC. Because, you know, even though we've gone to the newer gen consoles, we still have to worry about hard drive space in those newer gen consoles, right? So if you're going to higher res textures, that means more files, more hard drive space, which means higher file size, which means yada yada yada. It goes on and on. As much as I want higher resolution images for textures, I don't know if it's a good thing. It might, maybe we're not ready for it. I don't know. Anyways, what's the other thing? Okay, so the water. I had a couple things about the water that I noticed, and yeah, the engine could make a difference to that. I hope so. Maybe they're just... See, my thing with their new engine, and them doing a new engine with each version of the game, is they're trying to squeeze, like they're building a new engine on top of a rickety structure. Like, why? Why not fix your structure first and then upgrade your engine, right? Like the rickety structure, the DDS files, the file formatting, the way their stuff is written, like it's a little bit rickety, honestly. And I think that it makes more sense to upgrade the structure and then upgrade the engine. Use some industry standard formats. Don't just keep making your own stuff. I just think they're kind of setting themselves up for failure, and just making it really hard on modders. I wish they would have standard file formats. You know what I mean? That would be much better, but they don't, and we have to put up with what they're doing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when they have the modding panel this weekend at FarmCon. Supposedly there's an actual panel for modders at FarmCon, and I'm hoping that they will show off some of this stuff. I really do. So the next thing I noticed with the water is we noticed when the one thing they showed that was obvious was when the rice harvester dipped down into the water, you could see the bow wake essentially of the wheels in the water and the machine moving through the water. You could see a bow wake, which is great. So, oh, thank you, PCS. Thank you very much. So a bow wake is cool, and it may just be an effect. It may not be real physics. It may just be an effect that makes it look like physics. I doubt that it's actually real physics. But it could be. You know what I want to check? Going back to the survival skills for just a half a second here. Baling. Contractor. We unlocked GPS already, didn't we? We unlocked straight line GPS last time. I'm gonna use straight lines. So I have 30.9 hours, which means that I've unlocked basic straight line GPS on this tractor. So I'm gonna go ahead and use straight lines for the rest of today. The courseplay menu keeps coming up for some reason. I don't know why. Who cares? Yeah, why is Giants not using the Giants engine? Well, why not using Unreal? And I think they've actually answered that question before. I saw a video earlier this week with someone talking about a content creator was making a video about like his hope for Giants and why he thinks Giants is not being successful and blah blah blah. There's a lot of stuff in that video, but nonetheless, a lot of it was he had a lot of research that went into like past Giants and the way they've made decisions and why they made certain decisions, those kind of things. And the reason they're doing their own engine is they want control. And so from their standpoint, from what this report said, is the reason they're using their own engine is they want to control everything. They don't want to have to work around someone else's definition of how things should work. They want to have full control. And they still are using open source libraries when and if those open source libraries are useful to whatever they're doing, but they want control. And that's the big thing with Giants, is they want control. That's the reason why Giants currently, FS22, if you didn't know it, they did their own release for FS22. Like, they didn't go through a firm to help them release the software. They just did it on their own. They decided that that was the best idea for them. And so they did their own release. They figured out how to do it and they did it, which is kind of why some of the releases with them has been a little bit to the rest of us gamers who play other games, a little bit kind of like, well, why are you like, why doesn't this release work like every other release for every other game? And the reason is they're trying to do it themselves. They want control. That's why we have their own engine. That's why they have their own editor. That's why they have their own file formats. All of those things are because Giants wants control. As a software engineer, that gives them, to explain that, why would they make that decision? When you write your own stuff, you know how it works, and you know that if a feature needs to be added, you have to add it. At the same time, you also know how it works intrinsically because you built it. So you're in full control. It doesn't have to work like everyone else's system because you're the one building it. That's the whole idea, right? And that allows you to spend more of your time building features and functionality and less time trying to work with or wait for someone else to build that feature or functionality that you want. Like a lot of people, when they use Unreal Engine, they only use the features from Unreal Engine because they don't have a team within their company that can build engine features. So, but that also means that they have to have an actual engine team on their payroll to build that engine. So it's a catch-22. It allows them full control, but that also means that they have to hire more people to work on just the engine instead of working on features or new things for the game. Instead, they spend a lot of their time focused on working on the actual features in the engine and trying to stay up to date with what the community expects to be in that engine. So in some ways, while they maintain control, and that's good is from their perspective, they're also in this constant battle of trying to keep up with what bigger companies like Unreal are doing in their engine, because they have to write they know they made this decision a while back to write their own engine. So it's good and bad. It's not great, but it's kind of what they've, I don't know how to say this, kind of signed up for. And that's a decision the Giants made. And, you know, because if they switched to Unreal Engine, they would literally have to rewrite the entire game from scratch using a different engine. Because you have to remember that everything they've written, all of their functions, all of the functionality, all of that has been based on based on their own engine and written their own way. And if they switch to Unreal Engine, it would take way longer to do. Like, they could switch to Unreal Engine, sure, but from a development standpoint, from a software engineering standpoint, they would have to start working on FS28, if assuming they continue with their version numbering scheme now. And let's say hypothetically FS28 would be on Unreal. They would literally have to start rewriting everything from scratch now, and they probably wouldn't have any time to add any new features outside of what's already in Unreal Engine on their own. So we might not get a better game. We might not. Again, that's what I see from what I understand. So that's just kind of why they do their own engine and why they do their own thing. They're trying to control it. And a lot of it's so that they don't have to pay money. If you develop a game using Unreal Engine, I think you have to pay. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think you have to pay the Unreal developers usage, a licensing fee for their engine. I don't know if it's per copy of the game you sell or what. I'm not sure. But usually there's some kind of licensing deal that has to happen for that stuff to work. Anyways, back to the water. The one thing I noticed in the water here, which is cool, is we saw the wheels go into the water and create wake. Great. I love that. I love that effect. I don't think it's actually physics. I think it's an effect, but it's a cool effect and I love it. It's like the same thing that happens in SnowRunner when you go into water. Like, you have that same kind of effect with the tires, and when you're in the water, you're pushing the tires, the bow wake. I think it's an effect. The interesting thing here in this screenshot is that the camera person is creating bow wake, which I think stands to reason that players will create wake effects when you walk into water, which I think is a really cool feature, and I'm glad they added it. I'm glad they added that feature, because it always felt silly walking into a water source and nothing happening and there being no noise and no effects. But if you look in this screenshot right here, can you see my mouse cursor? No, you can't. But basically you can see the bow wake of the person moving in the shot and the little wave ripples that are being created. I think that's really cool. The one thing I didn't like about this same screenshot, the one thing that kind of not bothered me, but is a little bit of a bummer, is when the boat, there's like a split second where the boat connects with the dock as it finishes its like going across the river movement. And when that happened, it just stopped, dead stop. But boats have buoyancy. They don't ever just dead stop. There's always some kind of rocking of the boat when it stops. So I'm guessing this is going to be a lot like a train, where it's on a rail, it has a predictive path, it's moving along a plane, it's not actually floating on the water, which means when somebody inevitably releases a speedboat mod and that speedboat creates a bunch of waves, it's not going to rock the boat. I don't think we're going to see rocking the boat. We might. I don't think we are. If this screenshot is any indication. We might. I can hope, right? And go. What other screenshots do I have? Oh, the crop texture, which I thought was really nice. This is like the wheat crop texture, I think, or it looks like wheat, maybe barley. It's really thick, really lush crop texture, which I think is awesome. The downside is the stubble texture is not as thick and lush, which to me is an incongruous element, and maybe something they just overlooked, where they didn't make the stubble as thick as the crops that it's just cutting from. It looks like there's half as much stubble crop as there is crop that you just harvested, which kind of doesn't make sense. Like, why would there be half as much? right? To me, that's maybe a miss. But I love the really thick textures. I love the thickness of the crops we've seen, especially the grass. For me, obviously, it's always the grass. I love the thickness of the grass and the way the new grass looks when you move through it. There was one scene when they're walking up to the harvester for the rice harvester, where you can see the foliage bending. See this like action, like as I'm pushing stuff down, pushing the grass down as I walk. It's a cool effect, but it's kind of janky. Like it's like I'm pushing down entire blocks of grass instead of blades of grass because of how they're rendered. In the new engine, it actually looks better. It looks a little bit cleaner, a little bit less janky. I don't know why I use that word, but whatever. It looks cool. Not as good as it could be, but it looks better. So I'm hoping that works. I'm really hoping, and you couldn't really see it from the screenshots today, but I'm really hoping they have the Silver Run grass effect, or rather the seasonally affected grass, where the grass actually changes color with seasons. That's something I really, really hope comes into the game. It becomes easier to do than it is now. Right now, it's this really, really complicated XML file to set it up, and there's no documentation on how to get it to work. So a lot of people are just copying the one from Silver Run, which creates very, very brown grass. And I think that there's a lot that could be done with that, and I don't think anyone really knows how to do it yet. This screenshot is, maybe let's talk about that screenshot last. Hold on. That's the last one I want to talk about. The boat here, obviously, the same thing. I don't think it's actually floating. The shadows and the reflections and stuff are all kind of weird. It kind of doesn't look like it's looks like it's removed from the water. It's not floating at all, which is a bummer. Which is the reason why I took that screenshot. This one is cool. This is the dust and particle effects. So this tractor is coming off of the left tire being in the dirt and the right tire staying on the pavement, right? You see that? If you look closely, the dirt particles that are coming off of the tires when it's in the dirt are brown, and the ones on the pavement are black or a dark gray, which is really great. That's actually a factor, like, which I hope we get this. You see how the dirt on the tires is green because I'm driving in the dirt, the grass? That's a realism, REA22. There's a set of mods. One of them is dirt color. It looks like dirt color is in the base game now, which I'm very excited about, because that means that one less mod for me to have to worry about having to get converted over before to continue playing the way I like to play. And it's really as selfish as that. It's just one less mod that I'm gonna have to wait for before I can get back to, playing the game the way I like to play it, right? And I love the REA dirt stuff. I love the colored effects. I love the fact that you get green texture and it's per tire. I love that. It's one of my favorite mods from a realism standpoint. And I'm very glad to see that it looks like, obviously it's not confirmed yet, but it looks like it's in the game based on the screenshot. So I don't know if anyone else saw it. I saw it. I also noticed that the grass in that sheep pen is very splotchy. And I hope that there's a way of doing that in the engine to specify when you place down grass in a certain area as a developer or a map maker to define different areas having different densities or thicknesses of grass and not just one density for the entire map. Right now, you can only define a density for the crop as a whole. You can't define it for each time you paint it down without actually going through some scripting. And I hope that they add functionality like that to make it more realistic. So you can have parts of your map that are splotchy grass and parts of your map that are not splotchy grass. I really hope that's there. Hard to tell. It's just a screenshot from a video that was only like 2 minutes long, but anyways, that's what I saw. Again, this grass right here is basically this looks just like the base game crop grass, which I find interesting, is painted around a field. Usually Giants respects that crop grass as its own type and doesn't put it around fields. They only put it in fields, and there's a meadow for around fields. That's why meadow exists. But here it's painted not that way. So I'm hoping maybe there's a little bit more flexibility with the grass. Yeah. Yes, a curb building tool in landscaping for rice field. You will definitely need that somehow. I don't know how they're going to do it, but you'll need to be able to do it to make your rice fields hold water. Like, what's the mechanic for us? If I'm on a map and I want to add a new rice field on the map in game, how am I going to do that? They're going to need some mechanic for that. 100% Ken. I totally agree. Let me see if there's any more. Oh, I noticed that they were talking all this talk. Blah, 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 blah. Trees look better. Trees look better. Crops look better. Grasses look better. And then the freaking bushes are the same, like, super flat, like when you look at bushes, like I'm looking at this bush and it's like, it's not three-dimensional. It's flat. It's basically multiple flat planes that are like this. It's just flat planes. And it looks okay, don't get me wrong, but they went all into depth about how the trees are more real-like and more lush and more real-like, and then the bushes are the same crap that we've had since 19. Why did they do the trees and not the bushes? Bushes are just as important, right? But maybe the reason they added the fog and the mist, exactly as Ken said, is so that we don't notice that kind of stuff. Maybe they're like, we don't want Josh to complain about it, so we're just going to add lots of fog everywhere, so you can't really see the details of the stuff that we skipped over. Maybe that's why they did it. That's totally the reason. Maybe if I wasn't so jaded, I would actually love these screenshots. Like, I would see these videos of like new features and new looks and fog and god rays. I would be like actually enjoying them. But instead I'm like, I'm so jaded. All I do is like criticize it and look for problems. I was literally looking for problems. It made me happy to do that, but I'm looking for problems. Yeah, Aerosmith jaded, exactly. Here's the HUD. Everyone is like, oh my gosh, GPS. You know what I saw? I saw solid fertilizer and rice as two separate things with a gray box around them, and that gray box had a certain level of height, which means that as you have more crops, that is going to scroll up the side of the screen, and eventually I guarantee you it's going to overlay the top HUD when you get like a you know, a crone pallet trailer full of, like, you know, 15 different types of pallets. They're going to run out of visual, like, vertical space to actually show all the names, because they made the decision to have multiple fill types in the HUD show up as separate, like, blocked entries. So good job, Giants. You made a UI faux pas. So yeah, good job. Not. Yes, exactly. I noticed that as well. You have GPS, but there's no digital compass. And maybe the digital compass is the way it is now, where it's like, it's on the map, but I shouldn't have to have my mini map open to see a digital compass. That's why I love Enhanced Vehicle, is because it has the digital compass in a nice, big, easy to read font, not this like 5-pixel font over here that you can barely read. It has a big compass, a digital compass, which is something that you have in every tractor. You have a digital compass. It's like the whole idea. Why would you? Anyways, I don't want to talk about GPS because I don't know how much it's going to work. I hope that they give us the ability to have more than 2 bars here. I really think there should be a 3rd bar, because a lot of hybrid machinery and a lot of newer machinery have multiple fill types. So you can't right now, one of the, I find problem with Giant's engine or vehicles is you can't have more than one fill type. It's either electric or methane or diesel. You can't have something that has both diesel and electric. So you can't make a hybrid. It doesn't work. There are definitely vehicles, especially trucks, that are hybrid, but there's no way for in the game to actually show that within the UI. So I hope they do that in the UI. I hope they add it. It'll be good. We'll see. We'll see if they actually helps. Yeah. They need a digital compass base game. So I'm really hoping they have some way of having some kind of digital compass somewhere in the UI in the base game. I really think they should have that. I'm happy that they're doing GPS. I'm happy that GPS is coming to base game so that consoles can have it too. I don't like playing without GPS, as you guys have seen. I'm just gonna push this bale around until it gets out of my way. I'm making horrible paths in the grass. Sorry about that. But yeah, let me fix this, and I'll get back right back with you in 1 second. I'm back. Last screenshot, I promise. So this screenshot actually is a bit of a bummer for me. And I don't like it. And so this is when they're in the video where they're walking through the forest and they're showing off the trees, and they're showing off the god rays and blah 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 blah, right? What I saw the stupid Silver Run dirt roads. Right? See that path in the middle that's the dirt road itself? That's an object, which means you can't terraform around it. You can't remove it. It's there permanently. You'll never not have that road in your map. So if you wanted to log in this area, or you had a dirt road like that goes in between two fields like it is on Sri Lanka, you can't get rid of it. It's there forever. That sucks. Giants really needs to actually properly build programmatically the way Ola does it, spline based dirt roads that actually use painted textures, and so that those painted textures can be terraformed. Like, that's the problem. And I think that's a bummer. I'm actually bummed to see that they're back to using that same thing that they used on Sri Lanka and on Silver Run, because it's this idea that I've talked about this before, but it's that a lot of map makers do is a lot of map makers will make a map to be played in a certain way. And of course, I advocate for that, author intended challenge and everything. But there is a significant part of the player base that wants to customize, right? They want to customize how something is. They want to customize, they want to plant fields, they want to terraform, they want to terrafarm. I hope terrafarm is in there, we don't know yet. I really hope that they consider that when they're making these roads, or they give us the ability to remove those roads. Like, I want to be able to delete that road as an item, as an object. Make the roads removable. If you're gonna put this kind of weird dirt road in there, make it removable, because then you are actually building a game for the players and letting them customize, which is what players want to do. They want to customize their farm. They want to customize how things look. They want to cut down an entire forest and then build a bunch of fields on it. But if you have really dumb dirt roads that are blocking people from doing that, it's not going to work. The other thing in this screenshot, I'm hoping they did, is the trees look awesome, by the way. I love that. I think the trees are great. I really hope all of those rocks are breakable. Every single one of them. I want every rock in the game to be breakable with the rock breaking mechanic. I really hope. Yeah. But anyways, that's it. Let me close that window. Let me close that screen. Let me close that like screen capture thingy. Blah blah blah. We're back at the game. We're back on the farm. Yay. Oh, Outlaw. I just saw Outlaw come in. Hey, how you doing? You had a tornado touchdown 2 miles from your house. That's insane, dude. Oh my gosh. Exactly, Ken. Are you guys, is everyone okay? You know what I always wondered? Can you hear a tornado? Like if a tornado sets down near your house, do you hear anything? I know it's windy. There's a lot of wind, but is there an audible sound? I really don't know. Like, because, you know, in the movies, they always make it sound crazy, but movies are movies. They're never real. Pouring down rain and heavy winds, yeah. I was in a hurricane once. When I was a kid. We had a Cat 5 hurricane pass over my town. It was insane. We went outside during the eye of the storm. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done, but I was like 10, so whatever. They're loud. That's what I imagine. Are they loud just because... Actually, I'm going to paint something real quick. Construction, landscaping, plants, this one. I'm painting these like little like islands around the trees so I don't have to worry about getting too close to them. You were a dummy, you went outside and watched it. Yeah, everyone and their friend is outside with their camera phones trying to get a TikTok video of the hurricane. Yeah, I expect that's what's gonna happen. But anyway, so that's all the stuff I took screenshots of, and obviously some of those screenshots were to nitpick. I think the stuff that I saw was really cool. The fog and what the fog created, all of that atmosphere, I think it's great. I think it looks awesome. I really hope that Giants doesn't overdo it and have it so that it's like foggy 50% of the day. Like, just because you added fog doesn't mean it has to be there all the time, right? Don't overdo it. Don't oversell it. Just, you added fog, great. Make it a little bit of fog in the morning, a little bit of fog in the afternoon, but that's it. Don't give us fog all day long. Don't overdo it. If you can hear it, you're kind of screwed. Totally. Stop. I think I keep hitting the delete button, which is what turns courseplay on. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I think I mentioned this somewhere else. I don't know if I mentioned this to in the the stream last time. The one thing I'm not a huge fan of is the way Giants is releasing information. I think as a player base, we deserve a little bit more. I think they're being really cagey about what they're releasing. They're kind of like leading us on with little tidbits here and there. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna show you a preview image of the American map, and they really showed us like little teeny tiny tidbits of the American map, not the whole thing, little teeny tiny tidbits. Yeah, we saw a lot of the fields, but we saw a lot of fields and we saw a lot of stuff with no context. Or we saw stuff in really gross overhead shots and we don't see how things go together. We saw silos in the distance and we saw houses and buildings in little edges of shots, but nothing concrete. Like, if you're gonna show us stuff, just show us. Like, stop leading us on. Like, are they really, do they feel like somehow that they're gonna sell more FarmCon tickets because they're having presentations at FarmCon, which happens in Germany and is in for a German audience? Like, why are you leading us American players on and not just telling us what's going to be in the next game, but making us wait for an event that we can't go to? Like, I don't know, whatever. I'm not a big fan of it. I love gaming companies who appreciate their player base enough to not try to keep secrets from them. And Giants is definitely not that. I hope that they get better at documentation. I hope they get better at sharing things. But if this is like the way they do things, what are they going to do with the documentation? Oh, we're going to give you one feature a month for the next 2 years in the documentation portal. We're not going to document everything. We're just going to give you one thing a month, and we're going to slowly spoon feed it to you because you're all children and you can't actually, you know, take in data at a normal rate like a human being. We're going to spoon feed you instead. So, haha, STBY. I just see that happening. Kind of sucks. Yeah, the reflection of the... I didn't even take a screenshot of that. You know why? Because the first thing I'm going to do when I get Farm Sim 25, I guarantee you, the very first thing I plan on doing when I get the game is I'm going to go into the data directory. I'm going to find the 5 or 6 tractors that I like, and I'm going to change their colors so that there's a matte black color option. And then I'm going to make a mod for myself that allows me to paint any tractor I want matte black. And then I'm going to put that as a permanent fixture in my mod folder. And I'm never going to have to see those reflections ever again. I'm like already planning it. Like, I'm going to start writing that mod now so that when the game comes, all I have to do is to plug in a few numbers somewhere. Right? I'm going to start writing the mod now because it's inevitable. I am inevitable. Because I don't want to see those reflections ever again. But yeah, I'm actually going to do that. I'm not joking. As far as from a modding perspective, I'm really excited to see what they give us for tools for modding. I'm excited to see like stuff like to see the Silver Run stuff get added to the game. I'm really excited to see what happens for construction, if there's any kind of construction features, or are they just going to completely miss the idea again and not give us construction features, like being able to build a farm or build a shop or build a shed or build an animal building. Like, I want to be able to construct those buildings from scratch. 100%. If they don't give it to us, they better damn well give us the code so that modders can do what they're unwilling to do. I hate to be rude about that, but like, give us the features from Silver Run already. Like, they botched it. Pianos, sailboats, roller coasters. Yeah, gimmick, gimmick, gimmick. That's all I have to say. Give us modders the ability to make that stuff on our own, and we'll do it for you. If they don't do it themselves. And I guarantee they're not going to do it well enough. Like, how cool would it be to build a silo? Right? I want a silo I'm going to order the plans for a silo, not the silo itself. I'm going to order the plans for the silo. It's going to create a construction site, and then I have to deliver metal rolls to that silo, which means that I have to find an iron mine, which means that I have to get a steel factory going to make rolled steel or whatever. And then I have to deliver, you know, 20 rolls of steel to my silo. And as it goes up, I builds up the silo, and suddenly I have a silo. That's what I want. I don't understand why Giants doesn't want that. Or I don't understand why they haven't built that in yet. It sounds perfect. Oh yeah. Yes, PCS. They have a modder. I don't know if it's a modder course class. From what I heard, it's like a Q&A session, and they're going to be talking about stuff that's related to modding. And I'm just happy that like people like Omatan are going to be there and taking notes. So we get someone actually in the modding community to give us some feedback about whether to stand up for us as modders and map makers, to stand up for us, to give us the tools that we need to build stuff. Exactly. I want to be able to do a homestead farm. I really want to be able to do that. And if I have to make the mods for it, I will. But I want you to have to build a sawmill. And I want you to have to cut down trees. And I want you to have to use the sawmill to make beams and planks and boards. And then I want you to have to deliver those beams and planks and boards to a construction site to build a house, to build a log cabin, to build a barn, to build a shed. All of those things should be in base game. I should be able to build a post and beam fence around my farm with trees that I cut down. If they want to have logging in the game, put it in the game. Right now it's just a sport. Like, actually make it worthwhile to do something for something that actually makes sense to farming. What they're giving us so far is not that. But whatever. Don't forget to hit the like button, by the way, and let YouTube know that you are enjoying the content. I'm going to continue doing these live streams every Wednesday, and I'm trying to throw in a few morning level streams. I don't know how long those are going to last once I start my new job, but I'm trying to put in a few morning level streams that are going to talk about modding and making things. We've already done, I'm calling them office hours, and we've already done 2 or 3 different, I think 4 office hours so far. 3 were on YouTube, 1 was on Discord, and as members, a lot of you are members, welcome. As members, you guys are the ones who get to vote for what I talk about in those things. So you want me to figure out or show you how to do something? Let me know. Let me know in Discord, post a message, be like, hey, I want to know how to do this. Take the next 5 months or whatever it is until the next version of the game releases. Take that time to learn modding, to know how to do what I do, so that you're ready when the next game comes out. You're like, oh, Josh already taught me how to do this. I can do that totally. And I'll be happily be your teacher and show you everything I know, and share everything I know, unlike some other people in the community who don't like sharing. I want to share everything I know and enable everyone to make mods, to edit mods, to make maps, to edit maps, to customize things for your own. I think that's one thing this game should have more of. More ability to customize things, to play the way you want to play. Yeah, so I'm assuming that the construction logic is added, assuming, Towboat. We don't know for sure that it's going to be added in the way that we want. Assuming it's going to be added, I'm already planning, and I need to figure out the modeling side of it, but I'm already planning on doing my own silo pack that's very unique to me. That will be a silo pack. It'll include all of my forage depots and fill stations and all of those things that I have that are all kind of silo based. and there'll be probably 2 versions of each one that you just buy outright and another one that you buy the plans for, and there'll be construction logic built in, assuming that Giants gives us that functionality. I'm planning on doing that already. That's going to be my first mod, or first completely all my own mod, not using other people's assets, let's put it that way. If anyone is a great modeler and wants to model those assets for me, I know exactly what I want, and I can help work with someone to do this stuff in Blender for me. I can do all of the XML myself, but I just need someone to do the modeling in Blender to make what I'm dreaming of a reality, and I'd like to do that for FS25 and make them buildable, so you can actually build a silo or build a fieldwork fill station. Sell the plans for $500, but you have to actually provide, 2 things of rolled steel, or what? Rolled steel. That's from SnowRunner, isn't it? I've been playing a lot of SnowRunner lately. Is this too hot to do anything else? Let's pause for a second with the mowing. Let's tab over and check in with our worker who is not doing anything at all. Sweet. Let's look at the map. See how much he's gotten done. I bet it's nothing. Nothing! Good job. You've been stuck on a tree this entire time. I love base game workers. No, I don't. And hopefully they actually turn around to the other side. I'm gonna have to keep a closer eye on that guy. Yeah, the other thing I'm really hoping for is breakable rocks and breakable buildings, and the breaking thing where you get something from breaking something. I would love to be able to like have houses in town that you can demolish and get wood from. Like, that's totally like a SnowRunner mechanic, but I'd love to see that in Farm Sim. To have, that dilapidated old barn that you find and you demolish the barn and get the wood from it and then build your own barn. Like, that would be super cool. In Slovenica, could be a drive-through tractor wash blow dryer at the end. That would be cool. Sounds like a cool idea. The other thing I'm also planning on this survival skills thing is obviously, well, not obviously, it may not come out for FS22, except privately for people on my Discord. So it'll definitely try to get ported over to the new game, but we don't know if they're going to build in any kind of story system that's going to make this mod either the only way to do this, or to work with some system that Giants comes up with. We don't know. I'm hoping they build a little bit more story elements, career mode kind of stuff into the game. I don't know if they will. Doubtful. But they might. They might. Oh, they're turning around right now. Let's see what happens. Are they going to turn around, or are they going to get stuck? Whoop. I hope that so what I'm doing right now, this basic straight line GPS, I hope that at least we get this in the GPS feature in FS25. The ability to lock in a heading in a particular direction and go in a straight line. I hope that at a minimum, a bare minimum, we get that. I would really love to have track navigation, but this would be a bare minimum. I think if you're trying to replicate what we have in real life, you're going to need track navigation. The ability to have tracks, to be able to go up and down a field and follow a track system that's predefined. It's in a computer somewhere. Like that's what they have in real life in tractors. I mean, heck, it's what's in the screenshots. If you look at the stuff in the store, like this exists, real life. Let's get it in the game. But I hope that at least we get straight lines because I like straight lines. That's it. I just like straight lines. That's the only reason. It's the only reason that matters. Yeah, for me, the enhanced vehicle mod HUD and the way that they did their HUD with the icons and all that kind of stuff is the best way that any of the GPS systems work. I think they've done everything in two little lines of thing. And if the game doesn't add that into their GPS system, I hope they write it in such a way that enhanced vehicle can like tie into that system to get that same functionality. Like it's scalable, right? I hope that we can scale into it. And the biggest one is I hope GTX brings easy dev very quickly. Please, GTX, bring it over right away because we all need it. I don't want to live only on tools that Giants provides. I need easy dev. And I can upgrade this mower. This mower is it? I don't know. I'd have to look at actually. Where's the mower? Can I see it here? I forget. Where can I see the hours? We are at 3.1 hours. So we can upgrade this mower at 5 hours. I think we said 5 hours, right? So we can upgrade to a new mower at 5 hours or 10 hours or something. I forget what we decided. I think 5 hours. 5 hours is a lot for a piece of equipment. 5 hours is a lot. So I hope that we decided 5 hours. Because I want to upgrade to a new mower. I want to like a batwing mower. I'm already like trying to brainstorm how I want to play the American map when it comes out. Like I'm not going to play Sri Lanka. Can't stand Sri Lanka. I probably won't play Sri Lanka. I won't say I won't. I probably won't play Sri Lanka just because I don't like that map. But I'm already trying to brainstorm like how I want to play the map when the new game comes out. Yeah, like how, like, do I want to give it a theme? Do I want to like do a survival start? Like, do I want to like do a survival, like this survival start like this with base game equipment and just suffer through whatever Giants gives us? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I almost don't want to make that decision yet because I know it's going to be, I'm afraid that it's going to be terrible. We'll see. We'll see what they give us, right? 10, 20, 40, 80. You're right. PCS, thank you. I'll write that down before I forget it. 10, 20, 40. No. We didn't decide on 10, 20, 40, 80. Or did we? Because it's hours on each machine. So I think we just need to decide on... I think in like it should be scaled to whatever game mode you're in. So in easy mode, you should have a 5 hour limit. In hard mode, it should be like 10 per piece of equipment. And it should be per piece of equipment, not like in general. Mainly because if I buy a piece of equipment and then I buy another piece of equipment, the hours start at 0. Yeah, it's 5 hours per piece of equipment. Like doing it as like the scale would be only if you're like tracking the overall, like how many hours of cultivating you've done. Or maybe it's based on both. Maybe it's, you know, maybe it's a 5 hours per piece of equipment, but you can't do the upgrade until you've done a total of 20 hectares of stuff, so that you don't just drive around with a piece of equipment and not do anything with it for 5 hours and say, oh, I've used it, I'm gonna move on. It was 10 minimum for the tractor, yeah. Because you're using a tractor a lot more than equipment, right? There's more, the usage pattern is a higher usage for a tractor versus an implement. An implement you're only using for one job, or maybe 2, for the time in which you have it. So you're not using it as much, right? I just really don't like this, like the way this thing moves behind the tractor and the offset. It's just not my style. Let's look. Oh, the worker is actually continuing. Oh my gosh, look at that. I'm gonna have a lot of weeding to do. Once we're done with the stream, I'll have to do this off stream. But I'm gonna have to finish weeding this field. That's a big field with lots of weeds. And I'm gonna have to do the whole thing. Why do I keep accepting contracts on field 1? I really don't like it. Like, why do I keep doing that? I think it's just because I look at the contract and I'm like, oh, 23 grand for a single contract. That's awesome. I can do that. I can totally do that. I totally, like, I really need to just tell myself no. I really do. Yeah, I think it's... yeah, we were going to do the paths for 3, and so it's whatever the low-level range is, and I'll break it down for most equipment. So, like, for headers, it'll be... You start out with 6-meter headers. You have to use the smaller headers. And then you can go up to 9, and then you can go up to 12. We'll probably do, like, 3, 6, 9, or for stuff like plows, it'll probably go 2, 4, 6. For cultivators, it'll probably go, you know, 3, 5, 9, or maybe 3, 6, 9. You know, maybe it just goes up by 3s. So you're not jumping the gun to like the highest level, but basically, I'd say probably think about it like a. Look at the scale. Look at the smallest one. Look at the biggest one. Take the difference, whatever that is, and divide by 5. Make it so there's 5 levels. Whatever that difference is, round it up, round it down to make it easier, and do that. So, difference divided by 5, round down. I can do that all in math, and do it all in code, and just have it be dynamic. That's how I think. David, welcome in, sir. Thank you for being here. We are doing our grass cutting for the second time with this mower, and I'm really hoping that we're almost done with this mower. We actually should be able to get into a square baler today, which I'm excited about, because we're gonna have to make 100 bales. What's our skill? Baling. We need to make another 20 or 19 bales, round bales, and then we need to make another 200 square bales. And if I was really smart, I would do like the little baby bales, but I won't make it that cheesy because I don't like baby bales. I'll probably just do 180s and go from there. And I'll have to look. I don't know if there's a good, you know what there is, that the New Holland D1000, I think, is a good small square baler. That's New Holland, because we're doing that kind of New Holland theme on this playthrough. I didn't figure in the switch for store deliveries. I haven't thought about that. I think store deliveries and leasing and I think I want to wrap up like store deliveries, borrowing equipment, leasing equipment, and buying from the sale, all kind of up into one progression, right? I think from a gameplay perspective, I'm a new farmer, I just moved into the area, I'm buying from a store. I think Mighty Mike actually did a really good job with this when he did his Saskatchewan series, where he was like, you know, he was role playing it, but his role play was, I like the way he did it, because he basically was like, the first thing he did was call up the dealership and try to like make not ask for any deals, but like, you know, build a relationship with the dealer, you know, the guy who runs the store. And so I think that if you're surviving in a new area, you need to build up a relationship with the dealer at the store. And I think that maybe store deliveries, you have to buy, there's a certain amount of money you have to spend on equipment, right? And then once you spend a certain amount of money, then they start delivering it to you. One thing I'd love to have, and I'd love to actually make, if I can ever find the developer for store deliveries, I want to make the percentage that you pay a setting, so that when you first start using store deliveries, you can set it at like a 20% delivery fee. So it's a super high delivery fee. So you get store deliveries, but you have to pay out the butt for it, and that'll mean that you use it less, but it's still available. And then, like, I just want that number to be a drop down somewhere in your settings file, so that you can like customize how much you're paying for store deliveries. I actually modified store deliveries for somebody, I forget who, so that it lowered the store delivery percentage charge, or raised it. No, I raised it. I raised it up for that person, so it would charge them more for store deliveries. From a realism perspective, you're getting charged more because he didn't feel he was getting charged enough. And then that way, the more you use the store, the more stuff you buy, the better rate you get on delivery, and eventually you can get free deliveries. But to do that, I would need to either have my mod affect the store deliveries mod, or have like somehow control the two, or I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I would love it so that you can, as you build a relationship, you unlock the ability to borrow stuff, and then you unlock like lease things, and then you unlock store deliveries, and then you unlock and then over time you get better deals with store deliveries. I think that's what I'd like to do. And maybe just do it with only store deliveries, but we really need the advanced version of store deliveries, which allows different levels, and not the existing store deliveries mod, which doesn't have any kind of advancement track or the ability to customize how much it costs. I think you kind of really need that for that whole feature to work, but I'll look into it. I'll see what happens. I have an idea of how to do it really, really easily, and to go from there. But we're almost done with this field, and we're actually almost done with the stream, so I'm gonna have to get in here and start windrowing some hay, and then start baling. But we did get some cool things shown. Let's check on our worker real quick. He's stuck again. Enter vehicle. Yeah, you're stuck. I know. I know. It's really hard to see the weeds in this field. Whatever this crop is, it's really horrible for seeing the weeds. You kind of see it. Sort of. Is that right? I think. Yeah. No, we'll work it into the game. Yeah, so Ken, I'm not sure if you're talking about this mod or we're talking about using those kind of buy stations. I think that's a great idea. For this mod, the survival skills mod, I think you should be forced into buying from the store initially, and then I think once you bought, like, I don't know, 10 25 bags of X, like 25 bags of lime, maybe like 25 bags of lime, maybe like 10 bags of fertilizer, or, you know, do it in liters. And once you do that, then you can unlock buying stations of whatever kind of buying station you want to use, whether that's a placed buying station or not. But I think you should have to buy from the store first. So yes, we'll do that, but I think it's just like a one-time. You've unlocked buying stations. Do whatever you want. Recommended to use the fieldwork fill station. Blah, blah, blah. And I can have like a little sale line in there that says, hey, you should use the fieldwork fill station because it's cheaper than any other mod out there. So yeah, you can do that. It's a good idea. Let me write that down while we're looking at the worker. Or I should just do like, you have to buy, let's say, 50,000 liters. 50,000 liters of combined of seed, fert, and lime. And once you've done that, then you can go ahead and get the buying station. Like, just make it simple. Or we could have it be that you have to buy X number of liters of fert, X number of liters of lime, X number of liters of seeds, and then once you've completed all three of those, then you unlock it. We could do it both ways. I've written code that works for both. So the mod itself supports those kind of dynamic natures of things to be unlocked, which is cool. Talking about FS25, I'm definitely bringing my fieldwork fill station to FS25. But when it does come to FS25, it's going to be the new model. So I already have a new model for it, and I will be using that new model when it gets released. And I'm going to save it. I'm saving the new model for FS25. And so day one, that's getting released right away. Assuming that I don't have to change too much from a modding perspective to get it ready for the new game. And I'm hoping between now and then that Giants releases a little bit of information to the modders so that we can start preparing and start building mods and maps that adhere to the new rules before those rules are posted on day one of the release of the game. I really hope so. I'm gonna blow up. How so? Oh, you mean like this channel? I thank you, Ken. I really I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking to have fun, and I'm looking to play the game, honestly. I'm hoping to upgrade my laptop before the new game comes out, so I got a couple months to save up money for it, which will be fun. But I just want to have fun, honestly. And I would really love to be like actually involved in the community, right? And I think that the ideas that I have are good. I hope. I hope that people like them. And I hope that people find value in them, whether those are people just in the modding community or people in the game, whatever. I hope people find value in what I'm building, and also in the ideas that I'm having to make the game better. I think that I'm trying to do what Giants doesn't do, which is be very open and transparent with my ideas and sharing my ideas and making those ideas public so that everyone can benefit and not just, you know, the secret group of people who are on Giants in Giants good graces. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the Giants partner program, while it is cool, I don't actually like the partner program, and I'm not oh my gosh, this thing goes too fast. I'm not looking to actually join the partner program, which sounds really weird, but I'm not looking to join it. Because I don't want to be beholden to follow Giants rules with what I can talk about. And one thing that I've noticed from people who are in the partner program, especially content creators who are in the partner program, is content creators who are in the partner program spend a lot of time worrying about what people are saying in their stream or in their content or in their comments, and they filter themselves a lot. And I don't want to have to filter myself. Part of me and being who I am is honesty and being real. And being real with you guys about what I feel and about what I like. And take that as you will. But I don't want to be beholden to Giants' rules surrounding that. I don't want to have to limit myself just because Giants is going to hold, you know, giving me access to content 5 days early over my head as a way to control me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not me. I don't want to be controlled. It's like you know how sometimes you see people who are like, and we talked about this from like a map testing perspective. You know how you get those map testers or people who map makers, this is obviously when it happens, who get people to test their maps, and then the people who are testing their maps are like, oh, this is awesome, this is amazing, I just want early access, blah blah blah, and they don't actually do any work to give feedback to make the map better. So they're not actually providing feedback, they're not actually testing, trying to break the map. Testing involves trying to break the map, and they're just getting early access because they want early access. That's not me, right? If someone is going to trust me with their map or mod or what have you, I'm going to give it to them straight up. I'm going to tell them what's broken. I'm going to tell them, and if I know how to fix it, I'm going to tell them how to fix it. I'm not going to hold myself back. I'm not going to hold my comments back so that I'm hoping not to offend them or whatnot. Like, I'm going to tell them straight up that it's broken, or I'm going to tell them, hey, what about this idea to make this part of the thing better? Like, that's open transparency 100% of the time. That's the way I like to operate. And I don't think Giants operates that way. Look at the way they're releasing information about this game. It's the opposite of open transparency. They're like playing this secret game. They're like, oh, well, if we lead them on and tell them a little bit, or if we tell Kermit to point out the GPS icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, but not actually tell them about GPS, and we'll get Kermit to comment on it. So it seems like it's a funny thing that we're not telling them, but that'll just give us extra time to hold it over their head so that they'll really wonder what's in it. And that'll mean that they'll show up for the stream and watch the presentation on FarmCon, because FarmCon's important because we make money. Like, that's what's going through my head. Like, I didn't think that it was staged at all. Of course it was. It was 100% staged. Right? All of that thing with the GPS and Kermit pointing it out was totally staged. Why do you do that? Why hide the biggest feature that you've been one of the biggest features you've been adding to the game and not tell people about it? All right? Yes, it is the corporate way. And that's when I was looking for a job, one of my biggest qualifiers in a new role is finding a company that doesn't think that way. I hope I was successful. But like, it's a very corporate way of thinking, and it's a very negative way of thinking, and it's a very I'm better than you way of thinking, and that's not a customer way of thinking. That's not a I'm focused on the player base way of thinking. That's a, oh hey, it'll be funny when we hold it over the players' heads and not tell them all about GPS on day one. Let's just not tell them for a week, and let's see what happens. Like, somebody had that thought. That's whatever. I don't know. I don't know why they would keep all those secrets other than trying to make a big splash at a convention. And if they're just trying to make a big splash at a convention, what's the benefit? What are they gaining by doing that? That's what I want to know. Sure, I can understand making a big splash at a convention. That's what Comic-Con's all about, right? But what are they gaining? What are they gaining by leading us on? There's a difference between leading people on and keeping something secretive. And I think that they're leading us on. Yeah, and then that was one of the things at the end of the video. They're like, oh, and the best thing about FarmCon is that FSL is going to be there, and it's going to be the finals for FSL. Aren't you excited? No. Could care less. I don't even know what FSL is. I mean, I know what it is, but you know, the information will come out. The game will come out. People will be excited. People will be angered and butthurt, and people will complain that feature X is not in the game, and why wasn't feature X in the game, and that's what's going to happen. In all honesty, we get whatever game they decide to give us. So why hide that? We either get it or we don't. That's all there is to it, you know. But either way, I'm actually pretty much done. I'm gonna finish windrowing this field. I'll save the baling for next time. I'm in no rush with this series because we are testing out all of the features of this thing. So we don't currently have the ability to count square bales versus round bales. I might try to build that functionality into my survival skills mod, which would be pretty fantastic if I can figure that out. To be able to actually count square bales versus round bales for that that skill tree. We'll see. Maybe I can build that in. But other than that, oh, there's no downer. Don't worry about it, Ken. I think people want to be like, companies think that the hype train is what people want. I think that's a lot of what it is. Companies really believe that us as players want a hype train. And the reality of it is that we don't want a hype train. We just want the truth. And until companies realize that, this kind of stuff just keep happening. It is what it is. No big deal. But that's going to be it for me. I'm going to head out. I'm going to finish this finish this baling and finish that contract. I'm probably gonna be up all night long doing that weeding contract. Almost definitely gonna be up all night long doing that weeding contract. So thanks for that. It's my idea. What am I saying? And I'll talk to you guys next week. So next week, well, we'll be back with the next phase of this survival thing. I'm gonna try to add in some more of those things we talked about tonight, and I'm gonna try to get in added to the mods so we can really start talking about like the next level of the mod and what it's gonna do and what it's gonna entail, and go from there. But I want to say thank you for everyone for being here, and don't forget to keep your eye on your notifications. So I do notifications in two ways. One, I do notifications through YouTube. So obviously YouTube will notify you if you're subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so you can see my notifications and know when I'm going live. In the mornings, I'm doing morning time for me, which is Pacific time. So usually around 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is about 1 p.m. for people on the East Coast. I'm going to continue trying to do some office hours. And if you have ideas for the office hours, let me know. I would love to solve your problem and do it live. I already have an idea for the next one, but keep an eye on those notifications. And the other place you can see the notifications is Twitter. Did I spell that right? Nope, I did not. TWI. And the other place I do notifications is Twitter. And I'll notify people through Twitter when I'm planning on going live. I almost always notify through Twitter. It's like the first thing I do from YouTube is I click the button that says Twitter, and then I post on Twitter. So you can also follow me on Twitter, and I also do notifications there, if that helps. I hope it does. But until next time, thanks for being here. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.